Welcome back. Now we have Sharif Gbadamosi with us. He's joining us via Skype, and he's a learning and development professional with over 20 years experience in senior management and executive roles in the manufacturing and service industry in Nigeria and, of course, in the UK. Now, he'll be talking to us about the importance of keeping great financial records for the future of your business. And there's no better person to talk to about this. Welcome back to the show, Sharif.
Oh, wow. Thank you. You flatter me. Thank you very much, City. Nice to be back.
Yeah, so we've had quite a few conversations, even off air about, different options people have. But, generally, in Nigeria, it feels like we don't have records of many different things. We don't even know, a lot of us don't even have our own health records, talk less of keeping good financial records. We love the spending part, but writing it down is a big deal. So what advice would you give someone who wants to change this?
Well, you got to start by telling yourself, what do I want? Not only from your business, what do I want from my life? Where am I going? Everybody has ambition, but there's an administrative side to your ambition. No matter how much you want to forge ahead, I want to build a great enterprise. I want to build a great life for myself. I want to be able to get debt free. No matter what it is, you have to keep good records because it's all about the story. There's nothing that can tell a story about how good your life is or how good your business is without the finances. At the end of the day, it all boils down to the money, because without the money, you can't have the life that you live or the business that you want. So at the end of the day, you got to decide that, look, I want to be able to grow. And to be able to grow, you need to show yourself a steady progression of your story. This is where I was a year ago. This is where I am now. Excuse me. And this is where I want to be in 5 years' time. That's why you can't do projections, for example. You can't do forecasts. You can't look at the possibilities without having something written down for which you can actually do a trend analysis. Tell yourself this is how it's going to happen, and this is where cash injection needs to come in. This is where we need to reduce our spending. All that has to happen when you have a story, and your story can be told best by your finances.
Okay.
And you got to keep records.
Okay, so I've heard that before, that your financial records tell the story. But there are some people who, till date, use the hardcover notebook to write down every single sale, every single expense. And probably they are making millions, but they still prefer to do the handwritten profit and loss sheet. And you said growth. So is it really, are you really growing if you're not keeping up with the modern ways of keeping financial records?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, there are quite a lot of old school people out there when I started my business, or even when I even started life after graduation, I was writing everything down on a piece of paper. How you normally draw your normal T accounts, write it down, debits and credits. Some people keep ledgers. I've seen massive ledgers in people's shops and offices. There's nothing wrong with that. You can, if that's what you're comfortable with. But at some point, in terms of speed and flexibility, let's think about it. The world is moving into the fourth industrial revolution. We're moving to the point where it's all about data. And it's not just about the data you collect. It's how fast you're able to collect that data, and how fast you're able to analyze that data, and how fast you can also transition if you need to. Because if you're using those paper invoices, it's fine. Again, I am not knocking it, but I'm saying at some point you need to upgrade to very fast and quicker methods of doing your accounts, and so that your analytics can be easier. Because if, for instance, market changes today, or market is going to change in a week's time, or there's some projection of government policy, or you name it, you got to be able to make that switch. Like, for instance, if you imagine someone that is doing his accounts on paper, COVID-19 has struck everybody, things are slow, and they haven't reconciled since January. Let me put it that way, their accounts. So they really don't know what their financial position is in their company. They see the cash in their accounts, but they can't really tell whether I can buy this asset, I can expand my business into this particular area. They can't tell that story. So their reflex is not as fast as someone that can just click a button on a computer screen and it tells you your cash position, tells you your profit position, shows you your balance sheet, things like that.
Sharif, so I really want someone at home to learn something now. Now, the best time, in my opinion, for people that need to make the change is right now. Are there some applications, websites people can use to make this really easy and simple? Can you advise?
Yeah, absolutely. Because normally Nigerians, we like free stuff. So I use an app called Wave app, WAVE app. It's
Wave.
free.
Okay.
You can Wave app. So it's free. I mean, there's an element in which you pay, but for generally most of it, it's actually free. You can actually use Excel. If people, I mean, you don't have to do it yourself. You can outsource, get someone to help you do your accounts and things like that. But you can use Excel. The simplest way for a lot of old timers is if you have the money, get someone to do your finances for you. Get an external consultant or an accountant, somebody that knows ledgers to do that for you. But generally, if you're looking for the free stuff, Excel. Always start with Excel, right? You have Wave app, and if you run a search, you might be able to find one or two things. Or if you have a little bit of cash, buy softwares like QuickBooks or Sage or something like that. It doesn't have to be the expensive version. Something simple, but you need something. But Excel is the best. It's free for everybody on their computers.
So I heard you mention Sage, QuickBooks. I've heard about these platforms before. They're softwares. Then you also mentioned Wave app as well. There are a lot of people that are using these things and probably not using them very well. I know that online there are videos and tutorials on how to use these things. But I just want to, I just want for you to say what exactly the future of your business is if you do not keep financial records.
Well, I doubt a business can actually survive without good financial records, because as I said to you, it's all about data. And everybody, we're doing competition about product, services, and many different things. Now we're in the age where it's all about how technologically advanced and astute you are as a business. So if you don't collect data, you can't run analysis like any other person. You can't make decisions as quickly. So without data, a business cannot survive. I don't care how much you make, because eventually you're going to make a mistake with how you spend your money, and it might cost your organization. So you need to be able to have that story at your disposal whenever you need it, so that it can help you make your decisions.
I'm thinking about
it's not sustainable.
I'm thinking about people who need some financial assistance and how these records can actually help them as well.
Yeah. Well, you can. Okay, people that. Yeah, if you need financial assistance, for instance, if you wanted to borrow money from an organization or from people that lend money out to businesses to expand, they need to also know that your company is creditworthy. Your company, so again, they need to see numbers. They need to see data. They need to see historical records. They need to see things that you've done for the last 6 months to 1 year. If you don't have that data, how do you instill confidence in someone like me to invest in your business? Again, it goes hand in hand. Everybody wants to say, your word is not good enough, because you might make a mistake, and nobody relies on someone's word. They need to see numbers, and that's how the business world works.
So this is obviously something that is not new to a lot of people, but I guess we've just, re-enlightened someone out there who's probably heard it before. You need to keep proper records, and you need to start doing it now. I have to say thank you to you for sharing with us. Any interesting cases that you've come across recently that you've been able to help out with?
In terms of these finances?
Yes.
Yeah, I currently have a client that signed up because he realized that it's a lawyer, but he realized that he's having. He wants to be able to know how to be able to handle himself. COVID has reduced income and things like that. So smart people are trying to find ways in which they can tinker stuff. But we realized that he didn't have a lot of historical records. So he's come up and said, okay, you know what? I need your help with this situation. Help me. And I said, okay, we're going to set up your finances, but I have to work backwards now to look at statements for the last 12 months and see how we can flesh out something that he can continue with. So that's the difficulty, because when you're just starting and your business collecting proper records, and your business is like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years old, it can get a bit difficult and tricky, but it's not impossible. We can actually work that. It gets more expensive though.
I feel like some might feel a little embarrassed or even wary of looking back at how they spent their money. And some people are, go ahead.
No, never, never ever feel embarrassed because this is the life of your business. No matter how late, I don't care how late it is, starting is always the best thing to do. Always, always the best thing to do. And as far as you have a bank statement, you might not be able to track every single thing, but at least your bank statement is a good way to start and see how, and obviously collect receipts as well. Oh, that's another thing. Anywhere you go, whatever you do, I'm very finicky about something like that. Even if I buy 500 naira of something, I collect a receipt. I know it sounds ludicrous to some people, but you'll be amazed what that does. Even receipts, they tell a story of your finances. If you can gather all of them together, and and normally in business, I keep my receipts for about 6 months to a year, so that if I need to make references or anybody comes back to you and says, "Oh, you didn't pay for this," or "You're owing on this," you can bring the receipt out. So many times it's happened to me like that, and my suppliers were very shocked that this man kept this receipt. I said, "Yes, I kept the receipt because I need to be able to make references whenever." So yeah,
right.
never feel embarrassed about that.
Okay.
There's always a place to start, and you must always start and do it if you want your business or yourself to have a fruitful liquidity life.
Thank you so much, Sharif. As always, something enlightening comes out of our conversations. And of course, we would love it if people could contribute online and use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC to ask their questions. Keeping great financial records. Thank you, Sharif. We'll talk again soon.
You're welcome.
So have you made that decision? Are you a little more enlightened about how to make the future of your business a bit brighter? Hopefully we've helped. We'll be taking a quick break. Wake Up Nigeria continues after this.